COVID numbers are also dropping considerably at AU. Brady Trapnell is live there for us. So, Brady, how are those numbers looking?
Well, Laura, Dr. Kuhl told me they only have around 25 COVID patients in the hospital here at AU, and they went 2 days without admitting any new patients to their unit, and they think and they suspect that's the first time that's happened since around March or April. Now, health officials say that news is, of course, reassuring for the teams on the front lines, but more good news. The saliva testing, as you mentioned, AU has been working on getting this program started since back in May. They've been communicating with the FDA ever since, and they're going to start offering it within the next couple of weeks. Dr. Kuhl says there's many advantages, including, of course, being more comfortable than a nasal swab.
You know, for example, being able to hand you a tube, but probably most important is that it's safer for both the people collecting the test. From personal experience, I can tell you that I would much prefer a saliva test than I would to have the swab done.
Now, AU says the news about COVID and hospitalizations isn't a license to ignore the safety guidelines. They say we're in this position, of course, because of those things, so everyone needs to keep up the good work.
Good to hear those positive numbers, Brady. Thank you. Turning to our local cases at our hospitals, University Hospital seeing 3 new cases since they last reported. They have 44 patients being hospitalized there. Doctors reporting no new cases with 16 inpatients. And Charlie Norwood VA seeing 1 new case. We've not yet heard from AU Health or Aiken Regional about their latest numbers yet.
Looking now across the two-state, DPH reporting more than 1,800 new cases and 64 more deaths. The state sitting over 302,000 cases total. In Georgia, in South Carolina, more than 700 new cases and 36 more deaths. The state's total now over 133,000.
To weather now as we check in with Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale on a cloudy Friday afternoon, but Friday is the key word right there, Riley.
Looking good heading into the weekend as well, Richard, and actually getting a nice little taste of fall starting tomorrow. We're going to hang on to the clouds, though, at least one more day, but these clouds are not going to bring us anything in the way of rainfall. So if you're stepping out this evening, maybe heading those football games, it does look dry, and it's fairly comfortable. Temps only near 80 this afternoon, and that's about as high as our high temperatures were as well. Most of us now getting into the 70s, and we should see our lows tonight generally in the mid to upper 60s by early tomorrow morning. That real taste of fall is going to be felt by Sunday morning when we're expecting to get down to 50s. But if you're heading those football games tonight, we are expecting comfortable temperatures, mid to low 70s through game time. It will be fairly cloudy, but we're not expecting much in the way of rainfall, so it will be nice out there for the most part. The clouds are thanks to this front that continues to just hang around the area, but is going to be diving south of us by tomorrow. Going to bring us a nice little taste of fall. We'll have a look at those numbers coming up.
Communities are now rallying together on the Gulf Coast to clean up after Hurricane Sally hit parts of Alabama and Florida on Wednesday. That powerful Cat 2 storm causing widespread destruction, wrecking homes and businesses, and a lot of people still don't even have their power back on down there. This is days after Sally made landfall. Florida's governor saying they're working 24/7 to fix the problem, but it could take a while.
And check out this gas station in southern Alabama. People waiting in long lines to fuel up after the hurricane. Most of the Gulf Shores area is without water and electricity, which means traffic lights are not working and most businesses are closed, and you got to gas up those generators they're using. So they're asking visitors to stay away from the area for the next 10 days to give emergency power and cleanup crews just a chance to get in there and do their jobs. To the West Coast now, where firefighters are feverishly battling flames in the Bobcat fire. That's the one burning north of LA right now. Officials say they won't have the fire fully contained until late October, and more people had to be evacuated yesterday. The blaze has gotten so large it's started to develop its own weather patterns at times. The fire has raged for nearly 2 weeks now, growing to more than 55,000 acres.
The Commerce Department says it will ban Americans from downloading the wildly popular Chinese app TikTok as of midnight on Sunday because of national security concerns.
President Trump issued the order, and that could just be the start of these new restrictions. Naomi Ruckham reports from New York.
TikTok will no longer be available on U.S. app stores come Monday. The Commerce Department announced it will also block the message app WeChat over concerns the Chinese-owned platforms pose a national security threat.
Both are taking data from American public and sending it to China.
TikTok is hugely popular, with about 100 million users in the United States. Under the order, current users won't see much change other than no more access to updates.
These could be feature updates that would affect you as a user, or security updates that could keep your data private and secure.
But more restrictions are looming. The Commerce Department is threatening additional disruptions on November 12th if TikTok's owner doesn't get an American company to take over U.S. operations. President Trump has repeatedly pushed TikTok to make a deal.
TikTok is moving along. We'll see what happens. It'll either be closed up or they'll sell it.
California-based Oracle is in talks with TikTok. Industry experts say the Trump administration's involvement is setting a concerning precedent.
No matter what company you are, you need to be worried that this executive branch of the government is going to tell you what business you can do, how you can do that business, and who you can do business with.
In a statement, TikTok said it disagrees with the Commerce Department decision, and it will continue to challenge what it calls an unjust executive order.
Hard to believe that we're watching this happen, and I'm wondering how many downloads are happening right now of the TikTok app because of all this.
Right, a lot of people saying, well, what am I missing? It's funny, it kind of sends people in the other direction sometimes.
Yep, and the owner of WeChat also issuing a statement calling the White House order unfortunate and said it will continue to work for a long-term solution, and maybe all this will force a faster solution than they were expecting, so something we're definitely watching. Several state representatives are set to hold a news conference today to talk about a string of concerning incidents that have happened at Fort Hood in Texas. This comes after a visit to the base in the wake of a number of deaths there. So far this year, nearly 30 service members in the military installation have died there at Fort Hood.
The Trump administration announced 13
of COVID-19. The announcement marks the latest extension of
New Year's Eve will look a lot different this year in London. That's because the fireworks display has been canceled due to coronavirus. The mayor said they're looking into doing something people can enjoy in the comfort and the safety of their living rooms on TV, but he also added local curfews and lockdowns may well be coming to London as their case numbers continue to rise in the city.
Also this evening, online scams steal millions of dollars from seniors every year, but it might surprise you to find millennials are actually scammed more often than people over the age of 40.
A study shows millennials are 25% more likely to lose money to online scams and fraud. Jamie Tucker digs through some of the findings, which are pretty interesting.
When we think of victims of online scams, we probably picture an elderly relative giving a bad guy their credit card or bank account information. And while that happens very, very often, a report from the FTC tells a different story.
Online shopping, online romance scams, and fake checks are some of the tricks people in their 20s and 30s fall victim to all too often. From 2017 through last year, this report shows that age group filed fraud reports that they had lost money at a rate 25% higher than people over the age of 40. Twice the number of millennials reported losing money to online shopping scams. Millennials reported more business and government imposter scams, more fake check scams, more business opportunity scams, debt management, investment. Maybe even more surprising is that millennials are 77% more likely than the older generation to lose money to a scam that starts with an email. Now it will ask your name, put up your name.
And people over the age of 40 are more likely to fall for text scams like this. A caller saying there's a problem with your computer that they can fix over the phone. But the number of scams is one thing, the amount of money lost is another. While millennials report losing about $400 to a scam, the median loss for people 40 to 50 is $500, and it goes up dramatically from there. The median amount lost by people over the age of 80 is $1,700. The takeaway from this report, people of all age groups are susceptible to online scams, and while we often think we should warn our elderly relatives about scams like this, we probably should warn those millennial relatives as well. That's What the Tech. I'm Jamie Tucker.
And those scams are always getting better all the time. Some of them seem, really legit. So always report a scam. If you suspect it's a scam, you can do that on the Federal Trade Commission's website.
Yeah, and those emails that look like they came from your bank or some other financial institution, they really don't. You always have to click on their website. Don't go through an email that you get to connect you because the scammers are good at what they do.
They are.
Riley.
We are expecting high temperatures to be about 10 degrees below average through next Tuesday. Wait till you see the low temperatures. We'll have a look at that coming up.
In action.
Obviously, a lot of parts of our area are still covered in water. A lot of flooding problems today.
Kennedy Harris is live in Augusta near 13th Street. So, Kennedy, what are you seeing out there?
Well, yesterday, heavy rains from Sally brought flooding to several parts of the CSRA. And here on 15th Street, a manhole overflooded, causing heavy flooding in one neighborhood. But it didn't just impact Richmond County, and Jefferson County had bad flooding yesterday as well. Jefferson County's National Weather Service says they got 77 service calls yesterday. 46 roads flooded, and 3 auto accidents caused by flood water. The damage did not only impact roads, parks and homes were damaged too. The Red Cross is assisting 12 people who were displaced from apartments on Howard Street in Rennes. And tonight at 11, we'll hear from a family in Jefferson County whose home was damaged by these floodwaters.
Okay, wishing them the best cleaning all that up. We'll check back in with you tonight at 11. Thanks, Kennedy. Want to take you outside. We're taking a look over Aiken right now. As you can see, still some cloud cover out there, but much different sky than we were seeing about this time yesterday, Riley.
Definitely, for sure out there, Lauren. We're going to see these conditions improve as we head later into the weekend. Likely see a good bit of cloud cover throughout the day Saturday, but expecting nothing but sunshine by the time we get to Sunday. And we should say goodbye to the 80s for a while. Today we made it to 81 out at Bushfield. This morning down near 70. We're expecting to drop these a good bit over the next few days. Our temperatures currently are generally ranging from the mid to upper 70s. Louisville and Gibson anywhere from 75 to 80. Closer towards the coast, 75 in Allendale and Barnwell. Low temperatures tonight, you're not going to notice a huge difference. So by early tomorrow morning, we're expecting most of us to be in the mid-60s. This is thanks to the cloud cover. That's just going to prevent us from cooling off too well. But by tomorrow afternoon, the clouds will work in our favor and actually keep our high temperatures generally in the mid-70s. And even though we have clouds tomorrow, not really expecting rain, but as this front continues south of us, it's going to continue to just usher in much drier and cooler air. So these are your expecting morning low temperatures. Waking up Sunday morning, we are expecting to be down into the mid to upper 50s. And then we're talking low 50s by the time we get into early next week. So definitely some air we have not seen in a little while around these parts. If you're planning to head up to the lake this weekend, Saturday, more clouds. Sunday should be sunny, but both days are expected to be dry. And both afternoons up at the lake going to be well below average, with high temperatures only making it to the mid-70s. So maybe if you planned on maybe doing a little bit of swimming up at the lake, it is not going to be all that warm. We do have a fishing rodeo going on at Mistletoe State Park tomorrow. They've actually stocked 1,500 catfish for this, and it is free, minus the parking fee. You do have to pay that once you get to Mistletoe State Park, which is in Columbia County up towards the lake. But they got a lot of fish for people to catch, and they expect people to show up, and no registration is needed. So it should be a great time out there. Weather-wise, we're going to have some clouds, which is good for fishing, especially in the morning time, especially since we have a new moon this weekend. I think the bite should be on. Should be a lot of fun out there at the fishing rodeo at Mistletoe State Park. If you have to maybe do some yard chores out there tomorrow afternoon, should be a great day to do it. The clouds will keep the heat away, and temperature-wise, just very comfortable all day long. And we are expecting a nice breeze out of the northeast through the weekend. Not overly breezy, but just a good steady wind out of the northeast through Sunday. Heading into next week, looking dry for most of us, and temperatures remaining below average.
Okay, Riley, thank you. If you are a cheeseburger lover, we've got a job for you. A job opening is available for someone who likes to travel and eat. Sounds like, hey, it sounds like my kind of job. How you can sign up after the break.
Carolina.
I'm Lindsey Graham.
What will be Japan's tallest skyscraper is set to be built soon, and here's a quick look at the model. Tokyo Torch will encompass 4 buildings over 7 acres right across from Tokyo Station. The tallest tower will stand at nearly 1,300 feet. People can even look down on the symbolic Tokyo Tower. The panorama from the top floor will boast views of Tokyo Bay, the iconic Mount Fuji. Builders expect this to be wrapped up by 2027, but a beauty, right? Fish skins destined for the trash bin are being turned into luxury leather in France. They're now high-priced fashion items, colored and cut into bow ties and shoes and really all kind of fashion items.
Yeah, a French company collects the fish skins from restaurants and then processes them into this leather. Ooh, it's actually an age-old craft, but it's experiencing a revival. So maybe Riley can throw us a few fish skins and
I guess the key is to
make some cash.
Get it get it there quick because you don't want 10-day-old fish skins, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, this job opening is a dream come true. I mean, at least for me. In honor of National Cheeseburger Day today, the website Bonus Finder is looking to pay someone $500 to be a professional cheeseburger tester.
Yeah, you travel the U.S. to find the best cheeseburger in the nation. As part of the application, you have to describe why you'd be the ultimate cheeseburger tester and also say you're not on a diet, according to the posting. You have until the 28th to apply, and the winner, well, they'll announce the winner October 8th. We needed a warning on that video that it was delicious.
So hungry. I mean, what a hard job, but somebody's got to do it, I guess.
Yeah, we need tasters out there before we go to the menu, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys, so for the first time since 2005, we actually got into the Greek alphabet. Tropical storm Beta forming in the Gulf of Mexico. Update on this coming up.
And Stan.
All right, take a look over Grovetown. You can see a good bit of cloud cover out there. We're not really going to see these clouds move out until we get to Sunday. Sunday morning, we're expecting to wake up to sunny skies, but over the next 24 hours, definitely expect those clouds to stick around. We did something pretty incredible today. We actually had 3 different name systems in the Atlantic, which this is the first time since the 1890s we've named 3 storms on the same day. Pretty impressive stuff. We had Wilfred form in the open Atlantic, and now we're getting into the Greek alphabet. Already have Alpha, and Beta just recently formed with recent updates from National Hurricane Center coming in at 5 o'clock. So we're already 2 names deep into the Greek alphabet. And once again, to emphasize this has only happened once before. It was in 2005, and we did make it all the way to Zeta that year, so that is the record to beat for us. Tropical storm Beta, once again in the Gulf of Mexico, just to the northwest of the Yucatan. This is expected to just kind of have a wobbly motion to it the next few days. There's not really any strong steering currents for this, but it is expected to be an environment to where it will allow it to strengthen. So we're expecting it to become a hurricane and possibly bring impacts to the Texas coastline by early next week. So something for us to watch, but not necessarily an immediate threat to the CSRA anytime soon. We are going to enjoy fall-like temperatures, folks. Next 5 to 7 days, temperatures are going to remain below average for us. And the good news is, with all the rain we've seen, should stay rain-free at least the next 6.
There is much more news ahead. News 12 at 6 o'clock starts in just a few minutes, and we hope to see you then. Grovetown is still on their first game of the season.
We have Nick Proto live at Grovetown High. He's getting ready to shoot some highlights out there, so he'll be behind the camera for us. But how has COVID-19 been affecting Richmond County's football season, Nick?
Well, just behind that building right there, the Laney buses have just pulled up. This is their first game of the year. They had a game canceled back 2 weeks ago against Josie due to some coronavirus cases on the team. Because of Richmond County policy, they had to wait 2 weeks, so this is their first game back. They'll be taking on Grovetown. Grovetown's already played 2 games this year, so now Laney's getting their first taste. A couple of Richmond County games are canceled this week, though. Hephzibah had their first case. They are not going to be playing Warren County this week, and then Josie had their cases during the bye week last week, so this is their second week off. They will not be playing against Screven County. Barring another setback, they will start up against Cross Creek next week. But again, this is Laney's first game of the season. We're going to talk to the coaching staff in a little bit as soon as they get settled in here about the cancellations and about their first game of the year. But right now, we're just hoping this weather holds out so we can get some more football going here in Grovetown, guys.
I know a lot of people are thirsty for Friday Night Football.
Yeah, for sure. And Riley says, by the way, we are good to go on the weather tonight, which is good to hear. We'll check in with Riley a little later on. Taking a look at the latest COVID cases now across the local districts, Richmond County has a total of 25 active positive student cases across 19 schools. More than 280 students have been told to self-isolate. In Aiken County, the district says from September 6th through the 12th, they've seen 18 positive student cases across 10 schools. And over the past week, Columbia County schools saw 16 student cases across 7 schools. The schools with the most cases, Grovetown High, North Columbia Elementary, each with 4 cases.
We're learning more about 2 missing brothers taken from their bedroom last night in Aiken. Investigators say 9-year-old Matthew and 7-year-old Jerry Kinman were staying at a foster home on Deerwood Court. Officers do not believe these boys are in serious danger, but their mom, Nancy Kinman, is wanted for questioning. She's believed to be driving a maroon 2005 Toyota Camry with a South Carolina tag. If you have any information, give Aiken Public Safety a call.
On to storm damage now, and take a look at these incredible pictures out of Washington County. Yesterday's flooding wiped out this part of Highway 24. In total, the tropical storm left about 7 inches of rain across that county. The Oconee River, that borders Washington and Johnson counties, that's under a flood warning through early next week, and we're also watching the Savannah River, but no major problems to report on the Savannah. But if you've driven across the Savannah River, you may have noticed the water levels looking higher than normal for this season. That's because of all the rain over the past couple of days. But Augusta Utilities says we saw more than 3 inches of rain Wednesday, more than 4 inches yesterday, so it does add up. And the Army Corps tells us they do plan to slowly release water from the dam into the river over the next couple of weeks. We're going to talk more about that in about 5 minutes. But first, a quick check of the weather. Riley, let's talk about high school football.
Looking good tonight, Richard. Even though the clouds are out and about, we're not really expecting these to be producing any rainfall for us. So the clouds just kind of helping to keep temperatures feeling pretty good out there for us. Nice afternoon. We are seeing the Savannah River. I mean, we were just looking at that video. You can see the color of it. It is very muddy, and we are expecting the river to continue to rise through this weekend, and unfortunately going to stay pretty muddy the next few days as well. We got up to 81 for a high today, now cooling off to 78. Most of us now dipping into the 70s. If you're heading out to those games tonight, we are expecting temperatures right around kickoff, generally mid-70s for us, dropping to near 70 towards the end of those games. The clouds aren't going to be going anywhere, but we're not expecting rain tonight, and keeping just a nice northeast wind through the overnight hours. We'll have a nice look at a fall cool-down heading our way coming up.
All right, Riley, thank you. Back to those coronavirus numbers. We know sometimes all these numbers can seem a little bit like white noise, so we wanted to give you some perspective on how many patients we have in our local hospitals right now. So we made this graph. Take a look. This shows how many patients were in the hospital each day since last Tuesday. So you can see AU Health and Aiken Regional both trending down. That is definitely a good thing. University and Doctors Hospital have fluctuated a little bit, but today both have the exact same number of COVID patients as they did 10 days ago. So heading in the right direction if we can keep on heading that way.
Yeah, actually this week AU Health had a couple of days without admitting any COVID patients into the hospital, which is remarkable. That's not the only good news. In just a few weeks, AU Health will become the first hospital in the area to offer a different kind of coronavirus test. You know about the original test with the swab, right? Brady traveled live outside that hospital with more on this big change.
Richard, Dr. Cool told me they plan to be able to offer COVID-19 saliva testing here at AU within the next couple of weeks, which is great news for patients and also for those administering the tests. If you've been tested for COVID, you know it's not fun.
From personal experience, I can tell you that I would much prefer a saliva test than I would to have the swab done.
Dr. Philip Cool says within the next couple weeks, you'll have a choice. Dr. Colhay and his team at the Medical College of Georgia started working on saliva testing in May.
Our laboratory professionals here at Augusta University will have put us in a position to really be kind of a world-class leader in being able to test for this disease.
They've been waiting on the FDA, weighing challenges of how to safely handle the test. But now they say there's advantages.
For example, being able to hand you a tube, but probably most important is that it's safer for both the people collecting the test.
Check it out. Testing numbers are down, but more importantly, hospitalizations. There's 25 patients with COVID at AU.
We've actually gone a couple of days now without any new admissions, which is a reassuring trend.
Dr. Cool says he suspects that hasn't happened since March or April.
Doesn't mean that everybody can relax. We have to continue to make sure that we're being cautious about our mask wearing, washing our hands, watching our distance.
Now, AU said they couldn't give us any more details on that saliva testing or how you can get set up for that, but they did tell us that they'll give us more information over the next couple weeks.
And maybe a win-win if it's better for those healthcare workers as well. Brady, thanks for the update there from the AU campus. Looking at COVID cases statewide now, starting in Georgia with 1,800 new cases today. After surpassing 300,000 cases yesterday total, 64 more people have died. Daily cases in South Carolina staying on the low side, fewer than 800 statewide today. 36 more people have died in South Carolina as the state hits another milestone of 3,000 deaths.
The long-fought battle over plans to open the first rehab center for first responders could go to court. The Hale Foundation just filed a legal complaint against the Augusta Commission. mission. The Hale Foundation is the group pushing to open Valor Station in the Green Meadows neighborhood. They have been back and forth over this for years, still no decision. The foundation now claims commissioners are discriminating against them and ignoring evidence proving the need for the center. The body of a local tow truck driver killed while on the job will be escorted home tomorrow. Jason Willis died after a hit and run yesterday morning while he was working right on the side of I-20 in McDuffie County. Tomorrow morning, a tow truck will escort his body from McDuffie County back to his home in Aiken and then to the GBI lab. Officials say they still don't have a suspect in this hit and run case.
A caravan for justice will take off from Atlanta tomorrow to bring attention to the death of a Screven County man. Julian Lewis was killed by a Georgia State trooper after getting pulled over for a broken tail light. The trooper was fired and is charged with murder. Still, Lewis's family is demanding more action. The caravan will end with a protest at Sylvania's town hall at 1 o'clock.
This school year has...
Some breaking news to pass along. The Aiken County Sheriff's Office has their second attempted murder suspect in custody now. Deputies have just arrested Shaquille Barr. They say he was wanted in connection to a shooting in Monetta over the weekend. 2 women were shot inside a car there. One of them hit in the head. Officials are still looking for Daniel Harris. Both had been wanted for attempted murder and weapons charges.
It is amazing how much can change in a day, and I know a lot of families are thankful that is true. I want to show you, this is near Peach Orchard Road on Wimberley Drive. You can see how much water has receded from yesterday's flash flooding that just dumped on us so quickly. Celeste Springer live outside of that home. Celeste, the water seems to be gone behind you there, but how's the family dealing with the aftermath?
The water is gone, but the after effects are still here. $10,000. That's how much this family says they think they lost in personal items alone. Items like this lawnmower. This used to be filled with gas. No, instead now it's storm water. And they tell me that it's not the only thing lost in the floods.
Devastated and mad at the same time.
While Marquita Hodges waits and hopes for the city to do something about the flooding that occurs at her home after heavy rain, the only thing her and her family can do is get to work cleaning up here.
We don't know where to start. I mean, we just gonna start us.
This isn't the first time this has happened, and for now, it probably won't be the last.
I talked to one of the engineers, and he told me last time this was going on, he told me then that they wasn't going to do anything.
As she walked with us, showing us all the damage, she recalls all the family keepsakes lost over the years due to the storms.
Last time it happened, I had all my Christmas stuff destroyed. 50 years worth of, all my kids' stuff that they made, It's just, you can't even think. You don't even know what to do. I'm lost in where do you even start?
Meanwhile, across town, Savannah River crews are working on mitigating water safely into the Savannah River.
Now, the one thing people will notice is at Thurman Dam, just upriver of Augusta, we will begin discharging greater than usual amounts.
The dam is currently holding back massive amounts of water, and near and far across the CSRA, homeowners and crews alike are trying to sort through the mess left behind. Yeah, so this is their basement here, and when it was flooded, the water came up to this third step. They say over the years, with all the floods they've had, though, it's gone up even farther, even up to this line right here back in 2012, the worst flood that they've seen. So you can imagine how devastating. They've lived here for quite some time, but they think it might be time to start looking at new houses and move on.
Thank you for that, Celeste. And I mean, that's just a testament to a lot of problems that we had over the last few days with just a ton of rainfall across the area. Luckily, no rain today. We did not have any.
Every year, thousands of people pack the streets of downtown Augusta celebrating Arts in the Heart. It's supposed to be going on right now. Remember that? It's the biggest festival in the city. Art, music, food from all around the region, all around the world. Unfortunately, this year, like all the other events, the festival is canceled. But Zana Halliburton explains there are other ways to support all those talented artists.
Richard, instead of the festival we're used to seeing, this weekend organizers kicked off a virtual Arts in the Heart. It's their way of supporting the arts that would have set up shop here. You start by going to artsintheheartofaugusta.com. From there, scroll down to the Fine Arts and Crafts Market. There you can see dozens of different pieces from jewelry to sculptures and clothing. You can also search by category. There's over a dozen of them and over 60 artists to choose from. To buy something, just click on the picture on the bottom of the page and it'll link you to the artist's website. The virtual market kicked off today and it will run through Sunday. For more information, make sure to head to our website, wrdw.com.
Saying it, thanks. A lot of talented artists there. I bet a lot of people are going to be Christmas shopping this weekend. Eagles fans, hey, your Saturday is free now. Coming up in sports, Mike will break down Florida Atlantic's decision not to play Georgia Southern this weekend.
As businesses around the country are forced to shut down, a local electrician found a way to make his company thrive. News 12 Sydney Heiberger explains how his idea keeps people safe and helps other businesses keep the lights on.
As an electrician, Steve Shuey knows a thing or two about lighting.
It was all about the UVC lamp. You have to get the right lamp.
So he knows that special kinds of UV rays called UVC can kill germs and viruses.
The demand all of a sudden has exploded, a little more than I expected at first.
When he noticed that PPE was being thrown out frequently, he knew he could use lights to help. Enter his invention, the Virinator.
Basically, they can put this in a room, hang all their PPE up, and this will kill everything on.
As the pandemic progressed, so did the problems. Businesses were shutting down for hours on end to disinfect. So were ambulances and classrooms and daycares.
So they can take this same small unit and hang it in an ambulance. 15 minutes is completely cleaned. This one here will do 1,500 square feet in 30 minutes. Schools now, they can roll this into a classroom.
The idea is not new.
They use the same technology in emergency rooms in a lot of the big hospitals, but those units cost $125,000.
Steve's Virinators are smaller and therefore a fraction of that price. But he says weeks of testing show they work.
I've got people from Denver all up the coast.
In a time when so many businesses turn the lights off, one business turning the lights on. In Augusta, Sydney Heiberger, on your side.
On your sideline, sports brought to you by the Hawk Law Group.
Coming into this week, there was some doubt that the Georgia Southern Florida Atlantic game would take place after FAU announced a cluster of players tested positive for coronavirus. Big decision from the Owls today. Their game against Georgia Southern is postponed. At least 18 players on the Owls had tested positive for COVID by the time Florida Atlantic reached out to Georgia Southern and said they wouldn't play. The rescheduled date right now is for December 5th. Keep in mind, Georgia Southern had 33 players inactive for last week's game against Campbell, some of which were due to positive cases or isolation or contact tracing. It's once again a reminder of what this season holds for all college football teams.
You know, this is going to be an up and down season in